Hello there. I'm always in deep thought about a lot of abstruse subjects that don't help me. Meaning they don't help me financially and they don't help a lot of things in my life, but I'm a person that loves to know and learn things more than anything else. And I can't learn it from the people that are out there. Because most of them are atomists and they're just, they're lost in academia. You can't get inspiration or understanding from them, but using Platonic dialectic and retroduction and the ability for nonlinear spontaneous thought genesis, which by the way cannot be measured on an IQ test, I came to the kind of like a glaring, sledgehammer to the head sort of moment the other day. I'd like to make a short little video about it, this video. And it combined two things that I've been saying now for years. I've made countless videos about what black holes are, including written a book on field theory, but also too a list of definitions about what a black hole is. And the link, by the way, is below in the description. The link of the descriptions of like fields, black holes, magnetism, so on and so forth. And that black holes are, of course, supermasses with no magnitude. They're not holes at all. They kind of are, but the word dielectricity has completely overthrown magnetism's ability to keep something in the visible universe. If I could, which of course I can't, dial up the point source incommensurability of this object, say it was a magnet, it would, if I dial it up high enough, it would vanish from the visible universe, because the only thing that actually keeps any mass or matter in the visible universe is magnetism and magnetism only, because mass and magnitude or volume, of course once you have volume you actually have its measure, which is space and time, but the only thing anything has any Cartesian footprint of magnitude in the universe is due to magnetism. But when dielectricity overthrows it, the mass is still there, but it's vanished from the visible universe. Walter Russell actually made a statement in one of his drawings that I have saved on my computer. They were made in 1955. And in it he says something to the effect that all nuclear particles are little holes. And he's correct on that, but I'd like to combine something else that I've said in many countless other videos. I've said everything is light. I spent years, even though it was right in front of me because Mother Nature is so simple, that everything is light. And of course people will quote Nikola Tesla, and I don't know if it's actually a real quote from Tesla because I can't find the original source even myself, and I have all the available written sayings of Nikola Tesla, where even he said everything is light. But the fact that I stated in several prior videos the reconciliation of light and matter doesn't have to be reconciled because they're already unified. Several magnitudes, and it was recently proven. You're using lasers and something else, and I made a video about this like 6 months ago. Scientists used ultra-high frequency laser light and something else in conjunction with that to amplify the power, and they spontaneously created matter. I even think it was hydrogen. And I predicted this years and years ago, I think approximately 2.5 years ago, that I told everybody in video, and I don't know which video it is because I've got 6,500 videos now, that at several magnitudes, and I don't know how many magnitudes above that of gamma radiation, we'll actually have the fundamental particle of the universe. And you could do a Google search or a Bing search and type in galactic jets or astrophysical jets, and what they are is these black holes at the Lamore frequencies of geomagnetic precession are emitting trillions and trillions and trillions of tons of hydrogen. And of course all atoms on the periodic table are just nothing other than compounds of hydrogen. That's all they are. Hydrogen is the fundamental, and of course a nuclear particle is nothing other than a electrostatic dynamo. The presumed valence shells are just the high energy electrostatic outturnings of these spinning nuclear particles. Science and me are in complete agreement, and of course they've made countless empirical observations, that all free neutrons spontaneously turn into protons after 17 plus minutes after they're ejected from the nucleus. Well, if all free neutrons spontaneously become protons, that means what we call a neutron is nothing other than a modality of being within the nucleus of an atom. Therefore, there's only one fundamental particle in the universe, which of course jives with Occam's razor and the fact that simplicity is divinity, and what is divinity is of course closest to natura naturans, or Mother Nature. Anyway, look up galactic jets or astrophysical jets that are emitting trillions of tons of hydrogen, millions and millions of light years out into space. Okay, this is countless observations and images of this to that effect. This is not in any contention, and of course the plasmatic manifestations of these jets show that it is hydrogen. These black holes are belching out trillions and trillions of tons of hydrogen. Is nothing other than super, super, super high energy light. That's all a hydrogen atom is. The fundamental nucleoparticle of the universe, which of course all atoms are just compounds of hydrogen, is just high energy light. What this means in something that's supermassive, that is attained to point source singularity, is that dielectricity overcomes magnetism, and we have a supermass with no magnitude in the visible universe. That's all a black hole is. It's not a tear in space and time like the Disney movie Black Hole, which I love that movie growing up. It's still a genius movie. I think everybody should see the Disney movie Black Hole. It's kind of brilliant, but it's still a bunch of scientific, pseudoscientific nonsense. But I was always fascinated to learn what a black hole is, because I knew they weren't really holes, and they're not actually black. It's this that will say, well, light doesn't escape it. Well, all matter is light, and therefore a supermass with no magnitude, i.e. a black hole, where dielectricity has overthrown magnetism's ability to keep that mass within the visible universe, is that we have something that human beings have no parallel for here on Earth. Something that is so absolutely supermassive, and then it attains to point source singularity, that dielectricity overthrows magnetism's ability to keep that object within the visible universe. Therefore, we can, by simplex retroduction and logical analysis, which I beat myself in the head, not literally, for failing to make this connection before, we can completely reconcile both light and matter and black holes as one simplex unity. And that realization is actually quite fantastic and amazing, and really undeniable. Completely falls in line with Occam's razor. Light and matter are reconciled. I made a prediction for it, and the so-called scientists made that discovery, and I made a video about it. Their discovery that, hey, using ultra high energy laser light, I forget what they polarized it, what they did precisely, I forget the article. Anyway, they spontaneously generated matter by using light. And this is exactly what I've been saying now for years. This is the reconciliation of light and matter that I've been thinking about for so long. Is exactly what I said that it was. Matter is light. We could quote Tesla, whether it's a true quote or not, who said that everything is light. Well, that's more true than we ever knew. And this means that a black hole, or the phenomena we call a black hole, is nothing other than a super bundle of matter, which itself is just nothing other than ultra high energy light. This means a compound supermass of what is essentially high energy light has such an electrostatic, i.e. dielectric potential, that it vanishes from the physical universe. Because one thing nobody seems to realize, even though I keep saying it over and over again, the physical universe only exists such that it has a Cartesian mass and magnitude of XYZ coordinate of dimensionality, like this rock has a mass of I don't know how many cubic centimeters. That is only such, and only due to, and only because of magnetism. Nothing is in the physical universe without magnetism. Absolutely nothing, because magnetism is the dielectric field and loss of energy inertia, which manifests, of course, as centrifugal force in motion, literally centrifugal divergence, i.e. the creation of mass, the toroidal geometry and force vector of mass and magnitude. But the universe works in one conjugate pair and one conjugate pair only. Force and motion, inertia and acceleration, and respectively so, the dielectric and the magnetic. And everybody keeps saying, what is counter space? Now, I don't care if someone says 0-point energy, counter space, subspace, the ether. These are all just ridiculous names for one and the same thing. We have the geometry of the torus, i.e. magnetism, and the geometry of the hyperboloid, of increasing inertia and acceleration. When dielectricity overthrows magnetism's ability to keep something within the visible universe, that something blinks out of existence. You see, we call this exostance. Exostance, by the way, means to be outside of yourself. Exostance, or something physical with a Cartesian value of x number of cubic centimeters, for example, this rock, exists only due to magnetism. But when magnetism is overthrown, it vanishes from the physical universe. And yet its effect is still present. Every person out there, including myself and every scientist and stoogery of academia, admits the influence of that mass is unchanged. When that supermass blinks out of the physical universe, its electrostatic inertia, or what we call gravity, because that's all gravity is mutual mass acceleration. In the case of a black hole, it is point source mutual mass acceleration. In the case of simple mass, it is non-point source incoherent mutual mass acceleration. They're not ever accelerating towards one another. They're actually accelerating towards a null pressure point between the two. When we think that two heavenly bodies are accelerating towards one another, they're not. Simplex observation says that they are. No masses ever accelerate towards one another. What they're accelerating towards is a null pressure point in counter space between the two. That is an important distinction with a difference. And nobody, by the way, on this earth has ever said that except for me. I'll make note of that again, okay? That's my discovery. It's nobody else's. And I'm 100% right on that. And by the way, I'll point out to you the video that I uploaded yesterday where they used polarized light to look at the black hole of M97. I think it's M97 black hole, and they saw the exact same pattern I've been telling people for years they would see, because it's the exact same pattern you see on underneath the supercell when you put a magnet underneath it. That vortex toroidal spiral of the plasma accelerating in a vortex like water down a drain towards that mass that is blinked out of the physical universe, but whose effects are still present. So, summing up, my synthesis of absolute simplicity in honor of Mother Nature, or Natura Naturans, is I reconciled light and matter a couple plus years ago, but reconciled light and matter and black holes and how they actually operate. They could all be dropped into one single little neat box. And that's fascinating. Matter is just high energy light, and a black hole is just nothing other than a super conglomeration of high energy light that is a point source, and which of course is why it vanishes. That's the reason why Walter Russell said, and I'm only quoting him loosely here, and I have it back there if you want me to post a copy of it. He says that every nuclear particle is just, he says something like it's a hole. It's a spinning little hole. And I forgot reading that until I came across it again recently. And of course he's right on that. He didn't reconcile light and matter. Well, actually, I think he did. He said that, he says something to the fact that that matter is just light. I forget his exact passage, so I take that back. He did say that. But he made no logical analysis of it to say why, but I mean, all matter is just compounds of hydrogen, and hydrogen is just high energy light. And this is the reason why we see galactic jets spitting out trillions and trillions of tons of hydrogen. You'll find it in a Google search if you look under Astrophysical Jets, or they'll call them galactic jets. They use both names for the exact same astral phenomena. Reminder, don't eat a salad before making a video, which I did. Sorry about that. Keep chewing on a piece of salad. So, don't eat a salad before making a video. Mental note. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm so glad the other day the polarized light shows the exact same pattern you see underneath the supercell. It's like I told you all for years that's what a black hole was. And I was proven right. So, since my videos are time-stamped, and I made that discovery years ago, and they only discovered that phenomenon a week or two ago. It's my discovery. Old Uncle Kenny was right the whole time. You're welcome. By the way, I've achieved it. 2,000. No, 6,500 videos. Yes, believe it or not, I don't even know how I did it myself, but I have 6,500 videos. If you ever want to make a donation, it's warmly welcome. If you want to tell me how much you hate me, that's also too okay. I'll read it and I'll go, okay, you hate me. I understand. I feel you. I feel where you're coming from. Whatever makes you happy. I don't know how I got there, but 6,500 videos. Seems astonishing. Whew. Wow. What I'm going to go do now is I'm going to go eat an apple dipped in sunflower butter. By the way, if you haven't ever bought a pint of sunflower butter, I like Trader Joe's. I hate that store, by the way. Trader Joe's really sucks. Sunflower butter. Don't eat peanut butter. I call peanut butter peasant butter, which is exactly what it is. Thanks. Goodbye.